Follow us on foodmadeinitaly.eu.
Bentrovati cari amici. Welcome back to Food, everybody. Today we'll talk about delicacies. So far we have discussed about meat, fish and fruits. But Greek and Roman people, they must have had something else to it, something a little bit wicked and juicy. Aristide, show us into this sweet and delightful world. What did Romans and Greeks eat that we may compare to our desserts?
Hello everybody. First of all, it was especially Romans who enjoyed lush food. And it's not always been like that. In the beginning, during the Republic, before the Empire, Romans had more virtuous food habits. They all had very simple and light meals.
They were more austere and frugal?
They were more serious, more austere.
And then what happened?
People like Cato talked about living according to ancestors' customs in a very virtuous way.
More?
The Moors, exactly.
Then,
during the Empire with Augustus and Tiberius, but especially with Nero, as Petronius writes in his Trimalchio, rich Romans started holding very elaborate dinners and appreciating fine foods and tastes. They loved dining on exotic delicacies, imported from the other part of the world, as we would say today.
okay, let's say Romans had conquered the world. They felt really powerful, and so they started enjoying life, right?
Those who could.
Those
More or
who
less,
could,
the
of course, a small
2,000
part
of
of
Rome
Roman
inhabitants,
population.
which
A
were
very small
something like
part
1
of
million.
Roman population. So what would they do? Again, a sort of import? They imported all the nice things.
Exotic food was regularly supplied. Romans even ate parrot tongues, fish and seaweed from the Red Sea, which were considered not only delicacies, but also healthy food.
Maybe not the best, but certainly most refined.
Roman cuisine became very sophisticated and ingredients came from all over the known world. They invented, for instance, a cook called Celio, who wrote a cooking guide. Is reckoned to be the first one to make foie gras.
So foie gras, like oil and wine, is more than 2,000 years old.
Yeah, but the foie gras was not affordable as oil and wine. It was a delicacy for very few rich people.
So,
how did they do it? Goose was force-fed with figs to enlarge its livers.
the poor goose could never digest all those figs.
The goose didn't digest all those figs, so the liver, which in Italian is called fegato, from ficatum, meaning force-fed, overfed with figs, became,
So Italian word of fegato derives from this custom.
from figs,
Of course.
then liver became foie gras, a much prized delicacy.
Oh, poor geese. So geese have been force-fed for 2,000 years to make them.
Not all of them,
In order to make
but
the liver
let's say
fat, which is in fact still today a much appreciated delicacy.
it's a delicacy that comes from Roman times. Do you know what was also considered a great delicacy? It was very popular. It sounds disgusting now, but it's true. People considered it delicious. That was garum.
What is a garum?
What's a garum?
Let's say to our public what a garum is.
In those days, it was used as we use mayonnaise. Now, it was salty and highly flavored sauce made from fish wasp mixed with salt water and left for several weeks, nearly rotting. All Romans enjoying it, the basic variety was affordable for everybody. The flavored varieties, instead, were mixed with particular ingredients, spices from eastern countries, and were really expensive.
So, fish fermented and makers had a spice to it.
It was used to give taste up to any dish. Some varieties of garum could be crazy expensive and were only used by the richest people. Basic garum, instead, was cheap and everybody could afford it. The flavored, expensive, spiced variety was only to be found on
To
Nero's
think that
table.
all this elaborate food was delightful, but actually absolutely awful in terms of nutritional value cheers me up.
This kind of food made you fat.
Thank you, Riside. See you next time on Food.
Thank you. Follow us on foodmadeinitaly.eu.